Well, Jim, nobody likes to lose a goal late on like that, but goodness me, there's a lot of positives today, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot of positives, and we went about our business really well. I thought the tactics were okay, but more importantly, the players made certain aspects of it work really well. Daz and Frank were a threat. Adam Thomas was brilliant down the right hand side. I mean, the quality of crosses he was putting in, he was my man of the match for today. Another nice goal from Connor, justifying his position in the team. So, but I just felt that as the game wore on, I just thought that the little fragilities and the little aspects, we needed the front players to hold on to the ball a bit better, and we needed to make sure that we didn't dive out and charge out and give away fouls or give away opportunities, because they could have scored before they got the goal. And
you've hit the woodwork twice as well in the early stage of the second half, when you'd assume you'd be under the cosh, but that was when you actually looked like scoring another.
No, like I said, well, this is what you've about chalk and cheese. And then last week we had a ridiculous situation. Well, I'd take the kick off to himself, and today we kicked off and end up with hitting the crossbar. So, and that's nothing we worked on. You know, like I said, you know, it's like, do I need to go into training and work on when they take a free kick and the keeper saves it? Actually, people following people. It's just bizarre how people switch off, and perhaps you can't give them that mental capacity and that concentration and doing things right. So just have to keep working hard on the things that make a difference in results. And but they trained really hard this week, and there was, like you said, a lot of positives. I still think that there's more to come from some players, and I think some players didn't deliver their best today. But there were some real positives in terms of certain players really showing what they're all about.
I know largely because of injuries, it's been hard to have any sort of continuity about the team this season. But do you feel today you've got a formation that you're keen on and you'd like to see again?
Well, I think you know, if we went back to the start of the season, maybe Matty Warburton would be in the team as a 10, and Paul Turnbull would be in there, and maybe a different centre half pairing. But it's pretty much the strongest team. You know, there's only been one game where I think we put the same team out, and that was the most disappointing performance last week. So, no, I think there's you know, obviously it's important that we get everybody knowing each other and getting playing well together, knowing what I want, and knowing how to get the best out of games. I mean, I think other teams have gone for stronger players who sort of know how to get a bit more out of themselves, a bit more out of the game, and we've gone for a couple of players I think who are a bit younger, got potential, but maybe a little bit naive at times. So, and that's where we just got to keep coaching them and keep giving them the experience and hope that they grow and become better than the players that are currently at this level.
You came so close to winning today against a team that with a 100% home record, second in the table. And I know you challenge your team this season to do better against the teams at the top end of the table. Yeah,
well, I mean, at the start of the season, we're not sure whether, you know, because of last season, whether Telford would be there or thereabouts. But as it came into today, they're second, and it probably just shows you that there's not, you know, all credit to Chorley, because they look like they're at the moment the results are a cut above everybody else. But there's not much between many teams here. I think a couple of weaker teams will get you know, stronger. I think some of the stronger teams are losing players. So it's going to be a long season with a lot of interesting twists, I'm sure. But ultimately, we've, you know, despite positive performances, we're still not getting that win. And we're creating lots of opportunities, but not getting the goals that them opportunities deserve. And at the other end, I think, well, throughout the team, I think we're conceding possession and opportunities to the opposition, which are ultimately going to lead to goals over the course of the game.
Just on that, I mean, is that down to, I don't know, a lack of concentration or fatigue, or what do you think it is? Because if you'd held on at Bradford, held on here today, you'd be in the playoffs tonight.
Well, like I said, there's so many aspects to it. You know, we've got players. I mean, looking at that goal, I mean, now Bell's just run the ball out of play at the other end, and when really we should be getting an opportunity to score. And then from that, then we kind of de-energise ourselves. We don't close the ball down. It ends up at the other end of the pitch, and I thought that Ben maybe could have covered that, but because the defenders were there, he left her down to deal with it. But we work on head tennis in training, big head tennis. Told the lads get clearing techniques, and there was a lot of poor clearances today from players, you know, in terms of like just clearing the ball with a bit of purpose and that. And ultimately they pounced on that and got an opportunity. But there's loads of bits and pieces to a game, and you know, we've played at many a place and played a loose one. I think when we lost here last year 3-2, I think Steve O'Halloran just mishit something into midfield and allowed them to get the winning goal. So and at the moment those little bits are costing us. But like I said, I can't blame any particular individual, because somebody's going to give the ball away, somebody's going to leave somebody free, somebody's going to not track something. So that's the nature of football. But what we have to do is just make sure that we're doing a lot of things positively, a lot of things right, and a lot of things with the knowledge that if we keep doing that process, that results will be positive for us.
Well, there's a ton of positives to take into that game next weekend, the FA Cup tie at South Shields. And what sort of challenges is that game going to present to itself, even just geographically, scouting-wise, that kind of thing? How do you prepare for that?
Well, when you're in the National League, you get the videos of the opposition from the previous game, because we have to provide all the videos to the league, and then they share it with everybody. But which is fine, it's a level playing field for everybody there. But when it comes to an opposition from a lower level, then we don't have that coverage. So the chief scout's gone there, Mark, today, and he's obviously gathered the information in the knowledge that we wouldn't have a lot. You know, I'm due to speak to Phil Brown this week. They had him last week, and that also gives you a feeling what that place is like in terms of the atmosphere and the pitch and everything. You know, on top of the chief scout watching them at Matton Uptown. But I think you know, we have to be concerned about the opposition, because they're top of the stick Prem. They're at home. They've got a lot of experience. You know, I think our fans would be surprised at the budget they've got. So they're the sort of the next wave of Darlingtons and Spennymoors.
I think that's true, isn't it? I mean, although you may not have seen the team, you'll be familiar with lots and lots of the players. Half of them were Darlington last year. Yeah, they're attracting a lot of players from that, from the National North. You know, I think in the past a lot of teams at that level kind of stayed in the North, and then just kept working the FA Cup and always did really well in the FA Cup. Now they're sort of having a right go at the National North, and trying to work their way up the pyramid. But they're a big strong side. I mean, it's a tasty one for them. They'll obviously be relishing the fact that Stockport County comes to their place. We've learnt a lot of lessons from the likes of Blythe and Darlington last year, and Spennymoor, you know, all tough games. You know, we were talking about them going to, I was talking to their manager about them going to Darlington, and he, you know, he won't have the fact that travel has an effect on it. But look, if you're on the coach for 3-4 hours and you're having to kind of feed lads, look, it's a tough fixture, and we just deal with all that. We've got to do things as professionally possible all week, make sure we do everything right in the day, and then you just want to play your strongest team in terms of having the physicality, the mentality to be aware that it's going to be a hot game where we need to make sure that we're very, very competitive and gives ourselves a chance of winning the game. Looking forward to it. Thanks for your time. Cheers.